Wash nedge to sudge et ste. Wash nedge to sudge et ste. It's that just then show. It's that just then show. Wash nedge just the nedge just the ring across the gas awesome yes it's hellish. Netter doesn't it eat your friend as it's hellish. What nedge it sweet nedge just. Wash nedge just the nedge just the. Yeah, just in here. Oh, we on this three novels. Hi guys, so excited. David Lynch, more action coming at you. Season 3, episode 6. I'm so happy to be caught up with you guys. I can't share this with my husband. He's not watching along with me, so I have to get this out, and I'm so thankful you guys are here to listen to me and share in this experience and like talk it out and try to figure out what's going on. I've got my giant stack of notes, so let's go ahead and dive on in. Now, episode 6 starts right off where episode 5 left. We got poor little Dougie Dale. More of Coop coming out, circling around that statue, studying the shoes. The security guard comes up and is like, dude, what you doing? So kind, actually takes him home. So we get there, and of course the wife's like, whoops, so sorry, Dougie, completely forgot that you were there. She takes him inside, and the security guard's like, hey, there's an envelope here for you. They go inside. There's this moment where the wife finally brings up taking Dougie to see the doctor. There's one of these episodes, something's not going right. There's a brief interaction between Dougie Dale and Sonny Jim. It's this cute little interaction between the two of them. And my favorite part is they have this clap-on, clap-off war between Dougie Dale and Sonny Jim and one of the lamps in his room. They just keep clapping, and I think it's so cute. Well, downstairs, the wife has now opened up that envelope, and she is not too pleased with what she found. Dougie comes downstairs, and she shows them this picture of Dougie with Jade. And there's this weird smile that comes across Dougie Dale's face because it's something that he recognized. It's Jade. And he says, Jade give 2 rides. And this, of course, comes off the total wrong way. And the wife is not very pleased. But while she's having a go at him, the phone rings. And you get this conversation, and you hear that Dougie owes someone $50,000. The wife's like, that's fine. I'll handle it tomorrow. Meet you at the park at noon 30. I'll be the one with the red purse. I love the fact that she uses this term of noon 30 because I myself in my everyday life always say things like noon 30 and noon 15 and things like that. So it just kind of hit a little bit of home for me. Here again, we've got this sweet moment between the wife and Dougie. She's just found out that her husband's been hanging out with some lady that she's not too familiar with. And she tells him that, well, now I can't take you to the doctor because I got to go handle your $50,000 debt. I don't know about the rest of you ladies out there or anyone in general. If you first found out that your significant other is hanging out with someone you are not familiar with, and then they owe somebody $50,000, the fact that she's not flipping her lid, but instead concerned that she can't take her husband to the doctor, just to me means that she's super, super sweet and way better than I am. We get this moment here too, where Dougie Dale's kind of sitting there in his own little zone, and we see Mike in the Black Lodge doing his one-arm feel around, trying to catch Coop's eye, and he catches him, and he tells him he's got to wake up, wake up. He says, don't die, don't die. Woo, he better not die. He's not allowed to die. That's my favorite character we got going on. We get a moment now where we're in the car with Albert. You know I love my Albert. You know I love my old faces. And we have Gordon's voice, David Lynch. Iconic, so specific, just so distinct voice. And Gordon is sitting there reassuring Albert, what you're doing is very, very important. Just like when he and Doppeldeal had their first interaction, and he said that Riv, very backwards, very, very twice. So that's pretty cool. And we know where Albert's going. Albert's going to meet her or she. And he walks in, and from the back, you get this super high-cropped, adorable bob cut, like bleach blonde, almost white. And all Albert says is, Diane. And Laura Dern turns around, and I tell you, she's so beautiful and she's so gorgeous. And the fact that she gets to be Diane, I'm so envious, but so excited for her. What an amazing role. So then we're clearly back in Twin Peaks. There's the lumber yard, and we've got
The character Red, again, I always know their names when I look through and see the credits at the end. This guy, you'll probably remember from one of the first episodes, the ending in the Bang Bang Room. He's the one who kind of gives the little finger guns to Shelly, sort of, I don't know, kind of sweetening her up a little bit. But Red's there. He's got two other thugs. The room we're in is just riddled with bullet holes, and we hear these weird noises coming from off screen. Well, the camera pans around, and we've got our Mr. Rebel, the smoking guy from episode 5, Richard Horn, and he's making these yeah, like kind of sweet sounds, and Red tells him that it's called Sparkle. So we know our boy's high on something called Sparkle, and Red tells him you can get the rest of it from Miriam. Well, then Red just acts kind of weird. We're not sure if he's high on Sparkle or what. He's kind of doing these weird sort of moves, and you can't tell if he's trying to psych Richard out and get into his head. He keeps calling him like kid and just kind of getting into his head and getting under his skin. You can tell that it's really irritating Richard. What I love best in this scene, though, is Red does this cool coin trick, and he flips the coin up, and next thing you know, Richard's like, and he pulls the coin out of his mouth and hands it. Well, he doesn't get to hand it over. He's looking at it, and next thing you know, you hear the sound of the coin flip, and it's back in Red's hand. This man is quite the little magician there. One other thing that Red said that really stuck with me is he looks at him, he's like, this is me and this is you, between the heads and the tail. And he's like, heads I win, tails you lose. So Richard to me already seems like he's in over his head and he's not going to be doing so well. And then you guys, we end up at the Fat Trout trailer. We all know Fat Trout trailer, blah, 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 tongue twister and a half. From Fire Walk With Me, because it's where Teresa Banks lived. It's where that grandma and the son, who's actually, or the grandson, who's actually in real life David Lynch's son. If you go back and watch, you can totally see the resemblance there. Even in season 1, they show up there. But we're back there, and we're back with Carl. Carl's played by Harry Dean Stanton, the actor I love so much. He's so great, such a good character actor. And we learn Carl's going off to the city, and a new character emerges. Mickey's running up to him like, hey, can I come with you? I got to pick up some mail for Linda. Should ring a bell there, huh, that name? Next, we're back at the Double R Cafe, Wheels of Delight for me, and we've got Heidi. You guys remember Heidi from from season 1? She's one of the German girls, ends up, I guess, staying there, liking it so much, and she's there with giggling away with Miriam. You remember from the first season that Heidi was just always giggling, and she's still the same over-the-top giggly girl, and Miriam's talking about how much she loves the pie, and she ends up leaving a super generous tip. And the ladies there actually mention, like, she's a school teacher, she can't afford this, but you and I, we kind of know otherwise that Miriam might be doing some other things that she shouldn't be doing to get herself a little bit more money. We get a flash to Richard high on Sparkle, driving super fast. Carl's on a park bench now, sipping his Double R coffee to go, and he watches this mom and son have this cute little interaction where they're playing together, and then you just know where it's leading. We get this super brutal scene that just, Lynch is always so good at this. Like, he'll be really subtle handled with some of the violence and just kind of allude to it. But this scene, you actually see Richard Horn run into and run over this little kid. I just was like, oh my God, blown away. I couldn't believe they actually showed it. Miriam is standing there and she sees what happens and she makes eye contact with Richard, and there's just look of fear on her face. Carl is the only person who starts to come close. You've got this cluster of people just standing there watching as the mom is bawling her eyes out, holding her dead son in her arms. Carl, for some reason, is able to see like the greenish, yellowish spirit just rise up from the child and go up into the ethers. And then we get another flashback to Fire Walk With Me. It goes down to the telephone pole, and it's the exact same numbers. It's number 6, and there's like another smaller series of numbers. But bringing those two worlds in the movie and the show back together again. Now, we go ahead and we're in Mr. Todd's office. And you guys are going to remember him from one of the earlier episodes. He's the guy who hands the money over to one of his assistants and says, you know, she's got the job. Well, he's at his computer and this red box comes up onto the screen. So he discreetly goes back behind him, goes into a little safe, and carefully, without touching it, I think he's got like a napkin or something, grabs this envelope out, and it's a large envelope, and there's this black dot right at the center top of it. And you're just kind of like, what's going on? We're now with the cops at Dougie Dale's burnt out car that exploded. And we hear, again, the mom across the street, Junkie Mom, 119, 119. I'm not quite sure what's going on with her. She's stuck on repeat. All of a sudden, we get another new character. We're in a hotel room, and we've got a little person rolling some dice. He's marking down the outcome, things like that. Underneath his door comes, I'm assuming, that exact same envelope that Mr. Todd had just taken out, the large white envelope with the black dot on it, and he opens it up, and inside is a picture of Lorraine. And you guys remember Lorraine from the episode before, episode 5. She's the one with the bruise on her cheek who sent the Argent #2 message off to that mysterious device there. And with that, it's a picture of Dougie. Oh my God. Guy's got this axe pick, little person there's got this axe pick and just like stabs both images. Oh my God. We learned that the little person's name is actually Ike the Spike, which is very appropriate since he likes to use the ice pick there. And then you guys, there's a moment that I just love this scene so much. We flash back. Dougie's back at his office, but he's in the super duper black suit Coop. He kind of looks like Cooper again, and he's got his cup of coffee, and he's got the same Coop smile, just enjoying life so much, and it makes me so happy. The boss calls him into the office. Somehow, now you guys remember the last episode, he was supposed to do some homework, and Mike, with little flashes, led him to draw all these doodles on there. Somehow the boss is able to make sense of this and tells Dougie, thanks him for bringing this to his attention, but not to tell anyone else. Again, I'm just wondering, what's going on there? I want to know what all those little scribbles meant. It was just so fun and so neat. One of my favorite scenes, too, also comes up. Right back to back, I love it. We've got Coop looking like himself, all dapper in his cup of joe. And next, we got Dougie Dale's wife, noon 30, red purse. She's going to meet these thugs. And she gives them what for? She's a clever girl because she starts calling him out, telling him, you're the reason that this world is just so messed up. You're going to sit there and charge someone, overcharge them for borrowing some money for playing a game and making a mistake. So smart. She must have had the $50,000 in 2 bundles because she asked him, she's like, how much does he owe? And they're like, well, he borrowed $20,000 and now we want $52,000. She's like, no. You know what you're going to get? You're going to get $25,000. You're going to be happy. You're going to get out my face and you're going to make sure you never see me again and I never see you again. I love her so much in this moment. Naomi Watts is just kicking butt and just giving him hell, basically. Next, we see Lorraine sitting in her office just for a second because then we hear a scream off camera. Next thing you know, Ike the Spike is run in. And again, the brutality of this attack. He's got an ice pick, you guys, and he just starts going to town on Lorraine. They show a closer up where he's wiggling the ice pick around. And then he looks and, sadly, there's another casualty because that witness has got to go too. We hear again more gory scenes off camera. And then Ike the Spike comes around the corner and there's just this moment of like comic relief. I like the way Lynch is trying to soften the blow here a little bit. We just saw the brutal murder of Lorraine. We know the other chick in her office is getting murdered. Ike comes around the corner and he looks at his ice pick. And the scene had to be so brutal. The stabbing had to be so brutal because he actually bent the end of his ice pick there. And he's kind of like, a little sad about it. It's just so weird, the juxtaposition where it's kind of funny, kind of gruesome, kind of brutal. All brilliant. All David Lynch. Thanks, guys. Thanks so very much. We go flash real quick. Crazy Richard, still high on Sparkle, cleaning off the blood from his car. And then, you guys, we got Hawk. He's back at Twin Peaks Sheriff's Station. And he goes to the restroom, washes his hands, and he accidentally drops a Indian head coin. And he follows it over, and he picks it up, and he sees that it's head side up. So he sees the Indian head there, and you can tell the way he's acting, like he's like, something's up. This is a clue right here. And he turns around, and at the bottom of the door, it's manufactured by Nez Pierce, which is his tribe. And he looks at the whole door, and the door is kind of taken apart at the top. So he gets up there and he starts cracking it open, and inside he's able to find some loose leaf slips of paper, and they're small, and they kind of look like they might be from Laura Palmer's Diary, but there's no jagged edge. And we remember in the movie that there's actually torn edges, but who knows what it is. We know that Hawk's got some of the clues and he's moving in the right direction, and we're all super happy. Doris, you guys remember Frank Truman's wife, all crazy, all highly emotional. That's what we'll call her, very electric. She comes storming in again. Her and Frank have at it. And we get this brief interaction between Chad, who we know is up to no good because he's doing dirty dealings with Richard Horn, wads of cash, probably doing some drugs in there. And this scene solidifies for me that I hope Chad gets what's coming to him, because we learned from another coworker that Frank Truman and Doris's son ended up committing suicide. Chad mocks him like, oh, he couldn't handle being a soldier. Yeah, Chad, I hope you go down because you're not very cool. And then we end back at the Bang Bang Bar, just like we have so many times, you guys. This episode was so fun, so action-packed, so amazing. We, of course, always left with 1,000,001 questions, which is something that I enjoy. Mickey's buddy Linda. Is this the Linda that the giant was talking about? Like, is it other Richard Horn? Is that the one giant was talking about? Again, we're hopefully going to find out eventually. Miriam, we can only assume the cute little unsuspecting Miriam school marm in the Double R restaurant is the same one that Richard's supposed to meet up with for the rest of his sparkle. What exactly did Dougie Dale's boss uncover in all those scribbles? It seems to me that maybe Tony might be going down for some dirty dealings there. Still wondering what's up with that junkie mom and the 119. But fun things we did learn. I've been trying to kind of figure out what all Doppeldale has been doing to prevent himself from having to go into the Black Lodge. And now we kind of put more pieces together, because it's clear to me that Mr. Todd is in connection with him because he sees that red box. He calls, or he gets the little envelope, and it goes to Ike the Spike. So clearly Doppeldale had hired Lorraine to do the job. Mr. Todd had given the money, tell her she's got the job, and now we know that Lorraine couldn't do the job, so Ike the Spike's got it. But you know what? Ike the Spike needs to watch out, because little Dougie Dale has got some extra mojo powers in there, and it's not going to be as easy to take him out as it did to take Lorraine out. Let's see. We also know, too, from one of the episodes, one of the first episodes, is that Doppeldale had asked Chantel to get her boyfriend Hutch, because he was going to need them in a couple days. So hopefully the next episode, we're going to see those characters come back around. We get to know a little bit about Red. He's kind of crazy. He's clearly dealing with the Horns, bringing drugs in and things like that. Does he have special powers? Is he just a really good magician? Oh, only time will tell. Hawk is now getting closer. He is certainly on the trail. Coop is right. He's lucky to have him looking after him. He's lucky to have him trying to help find him. And I had thought for a minute, you guys remember, that the key that Jade had found might be what was going to be the link to get Hawk a little bit closer. But no, it actually was whatever is in those little pages there. That's what seems to be working out. Again, I love this episode because all the little loose ends are being brought together and tied up just a little bit tighter, bringing that universe closer and closer together, and hopefully right back to Twin Peaks where we began. Highlights, you guys. You know I love seeing all the old faces. Heidi was so cute. Their cute little giggle. It was so nice to be able to hear that. I loved seeing Carl. Oh my gosh, Carl. Exactly the same face, just so morose, so downtrodden, but still making it through, finding joy in his cup of coffee just like everybody else. And Di freaking Ann, you guys, she's here. I swear to God, episode 7 better have more Diane action or I'm just going to flip my lid. Coop looking like Coop. Coop acting a little more like Coop. I love seeing him slowly come out, and finally we're getting some traction. And you know what I also loved? Because I'm a horror girl at heart, I love that little bit of gore and the shock of horror that they brought out. And the kid getting hit was a bit much as a mom, like, oh, cringe, hurt my heart, hurt my soul. But the fact that they went for it, they didn't shy away, Lynch, I gotta give it to you. Lowlights? None. There were no low points in this episode, you guys. I felt it was phenomenal and action-packed and just so much fun. I am so excited, you guys. I can't wait for this Sunday to come on. I'm so excited for episode 7. Make sure you guys are subscribing so that we can talk this out and figure it all out together. Hold my hand in the Lynchian world as we fall through the abyss and try to find some answers. Make sure you guys comment below. Tell me what you liked about this episode. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me what answers you want to have, or what questions you want to have answered in the next episode. All right, you guys, thanks again for letting me rant and rave. I'll see you real soon. Bye. Hi, guys. Do you like living dead dolls, mystery minis, cool fun Funko toys, horror movies, walks in the cemetery? Me too. Make sure you guys subscribe.